Cornwall, an awe-inspiring canvas of natural beauty.
It is, I think, the best part of the British Isles. It's absolutely stunning. I'll stay here forever.
It's like being on holiday every day. It's because it doesn't feel real.
But it's the people and communities that really give this county its endearing qualities.
I'm Cornish, not English. That's the way it goes with me, I'm afraid.
Just love living here so much, and it means so much to me. And it's awesome, isn't it? Look at it all.
I'm Caroline Quentin, and I'm proud to have family roots in this beautiful part of the British Isles. This summer, I'm heading back to join the throng of tourists and meet the local folk.
Lovely to meet you too.
Welcome to St Michael's House.
Thank you, darling. I'm so pleased to be here because I've looked at postcards of this all my life.
As I explore this enchanting county.
It'll take your breath away.
So come with me as I head west on my Cornish adventure.
Tasting wine at 9:30. A lot of people are still commuting. I saw on the tube, aren't they, going to London? Good hell, Cornwall.
You know, lovely sunny day like today. Get out in the water, peace and quiet. Beautiful, priceless.
There's so much I want you to see. Come on. Welcome to Cornwall. There are over 6,500 footpaths in this county, and sometimes they're not only the best, but the only way to see some of the most amazing scenery. Also, it's a good way of reducing your carbon footprint.
This week, one homeowner is setting his sights on impressing the girls at an exclusive letting company.
We've put a lot of heart and soul into it. I think I'll be disappointed, Sue, if they don't like it.
If they don't like it, yes.
I'll be meeting a fisherwoman who knows all about doing her bit for the environment.
I used 1.5 tanks of fuel in a year. And that was only driving backwards and forwards to work.
And coming up, one of Cornwall's waterside traditions takes on a rather untraditional flavour.
Big reach, big strong catches. That's it. Nice.
In a valley on the north coast is one of Cornwall's more unusual success stories, the Camel Valley Vineyard. The running of this business is a family affair, and over the years the core team of Bob, Annie and their son Sam has remained the same. It's a winning formula. The grapes produced here have won the family several wine awards.
I'm really proud of the achievements we've made. I mean, we took on really a small farm that it was hard to make any money from. We planted the vines, didn't know if it would work or not, and I think we are acknowledged to be one of the best vineyards in the country.
Now, husbands and wives working together can be tricky, but Bob and Annie have found their own way of maintaining matrimonial harmony. They have his and hers vineyards.
Once the vines got going, we couldn't entirely agree on how to do things. So we decided that I'd take responsibility for this vineyard and he'd have responsibility for the other one. And actually it has worked out really well, because when you are personally responsible for something, you do take extra trouble to make it look lovely.
And Annie really does take care. Unlike most vineyards, her vines are off limits to anybody else.
She goes out every day, rain or shine, does 100 vines every day from November until Easter, apart from Christmas Day. And if she's on schedule, we let her in. Glass of wine, Cornish pasty.
Annie's territorial ways have become a running joke. Bob even set it in stone to clear up any confusion.
Bob is a complete lunatic. When Bob put the plaque up, people started to say, is Annie Lindo still alive? Well, I think probably the vineyard will kill me in the end. There aren't many vineyards in the world, probably, that have always been pruned by the same person, because people tend to prune in gangs.
Pottering around here sounds pretty therapeutic, but don't be fooled. Annie has shunned modern methods of tending to vines, pruning each one with her own bare hands.
You have to have your back to the wind and the rain. your face to the sun. That's the old farmer's prayer.
Today, however, there are some unusual distractions. A film crew has descended on the vineyard.
We've got German television crew filming an episode of Rosamund Pilcher, I think, here today. So it'll be a different day. I'm looking forward to it. We get lots of requests for things like that.
And action.
The Germans are huge fans of the Cornish author and have adapted many of her stories for film, using the Cornish countryside for authenticity. But Bob and Sam are less than impressed with some of the modifications the crew are making to the vineyard.
From a design point of view, I wouldn't have that up there, even if I was called Watson. There's 17 trucks here on that old site.
For Bob, the initial excitement begins to wear a little thin 6 hours later.
To be quite honest, it's just getting to the slightly boring stage, if I'm being really honest. The novelty has worn off.
At least Annie's having a better day. The labels have arrived for a new anniversary vintage of her wine.
Very smart indeed. I'd buy a bottle of that.
Yeah, it's 20 years on all fronts, so it's made in the 20th vintage, since we planted the vines. And it's 20 years since we made our first wine that we were releasing it, and it's grapes just from Mum's vineyard, and I think it's amazing, and it's already won a gold medal.
It's an exciting step forward in the production of this vintage. It's been a mother and son effort, and in a few weeks it will be launched to the public. We'll be back before the end of the summer as the first bottles of bubbly are popped. Earlier in the series, I dropped in on Jess and Claire, employees of a prestigious holiday letting agency.
It's the master bedroom with dressing room and ensuite.
Very lovely.
Unique Homestays is manned by a team of rather glamorous ladies who seek out some of the most exclusive properties in Cornwall, the type of place where you'd happily quaff some of Camel Valley's finest.
I'm calling from Unique Homestays.
It's not easy to qualify for a place on their books. These girls have high expectations, and the vetting process falls to Caroline to ensure that these standards are maintained.
If we didn't feel from the images that we'd received, its location and taken all of that into consideration, that it could never be a unique homestay, then we wouldn't go and visit it. We would say no at that stage.
Ooh, tough talk. Caroline gets to travel all around the county viewing properties that may or may not make it onto their books. Today, she and Claire are paying a visit to Simon and Sue, owners of a converted barn in the North Cornish countryside.
I think it's more than 90% or 95% of the properties they view, they don't take on. And we thought, I wonder if we'll be in that 90 or 95%. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
They've spent 6 months and £100,000 renovating this property in the hope of getting a high return from holiday rentals.
We both drew down a bit of pensions and it's all gone, isn't it?
It's all gone on the barn.
It's all gone on the barn. We couldn't do it too cheap. We had to make it feel a quality bit conversion.
So we're not quite finished, as you know.
No.
The kitchen probably is.
Cardine's job is to be objective. The clients who book homes like these will want nothing but the best.
And will there be a gated entrance so there's no access to your property?
They'll be gated off completely. We've put a lot of heart and soul into it. I think I'll be disappointed, Sue, if they don't like it.
If they don't like it, yes.
So this is the main bedroom, and there's an ensuite just here. So sort of power shower, built-in loo, basin.
And you've got the double doors outside.
So this is going to be the living area?
This will be the living area.
Space, okay.
And you're obviously looking out at the view. We've got a glass balustrade coming in here, and that will be in about a week's time.
The neighbours here, how many do you have?
We have just 2 neighbours. They're sufficiently far away that you
wouldn't know that they were there, really, yeah.
Of
that.
Simon is a month away from completion, but he needs the heads up on whether he's in with a chance of making it.
Once it is complete, send you a final report with a final proposed tariff and everything like that, and all being well, both parties are happy, and we would go ahead. With its location and what they've done so far, it would be a yes, but dependent on the finish.
We wouldn't just take them on from politeness.
No, so, yes.
Yeah.
So, you know, what they do over the next month is crucial.
It's a positive viewing, but Simon's not quite there yet. We'll find out later in the series if he makes the grade.
Cornwall has over 300 beautiful beaches dotted along its coastline. Everybody loves a bit of bucket and spade action, don't they? Hey, boys? Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
Of course, there are plenty of other ways of having fun by the sea, and the Cornish are experts at all of them. But perhaps the most traditional is the gig rowing scene. Justin Halliwell grew up in Cornwall and is now captain of one of the 29 gig crews across the county, Team Deveron. For him, life by the waterside is the key to a sociable and rather enviable lifestyle.
I love the fact that I can walk down the road and I can say, all right, my anthem to somebody.
But kind of always Cornwall's part of your, you know, it's in your heart. I think once you're born here, you kind of have an affinity for the place, really.
And, you know, good old Cornish crack.
And there's no better crack than an evening on the water after work.
That's nice. Right, just 60%, warming up, think about your breathing, and then relax through your return. It's great after a really hard day's work. You come down here, all your mates are here, you know, lovely sunny day like today. Get out in the water, peace and quiet, beautiful, priceless. OK, start leaning back, lay.
These boats may be used for racing nowadays, but they originated centuries ago from a racing concept of a different kind.
Well, originally, Cornish gigs were used in the 1800s to ferry the pilot out to the ship. Gigs from different communities would race out to get to the boat to get the pilotage first. But then as slowly but surely, the kind of motors have developed, so the kind of gigs were left rotting on the beaches. But now it's used for the race.
And racing is what the Deveron gig team are in training for this evening.
Right, let's just work what we're doing with the lay.
It's sports like the gigs that really pull communities together.
You'll have teachers, you'll have solicitors, you'll have students, you'll have builders. And once you're on the start line and the flag goes down, it doesn't matter how much money you've got, how many cars you've got, whatever house you own, it's, you know, it's up to you for a 15-minute race to do your best, really.
In a week's time, it's Deveron's turn to host the annual regatta on the waters of beautiful Mylor. This team is legendary, but not for its rowing.
We've got the finest selection of reel ales you could possibly imagine, all licensed on the shore, ready for thirsty gig rowers, really.
Well, I don't know about skills, but these lads will need to brush up on their singing before then. We'll join them later to see if the day is a winner. Quite fancy captaining a team of young men like these myself.
Come on, Cornwall.
Further west, in the village of Helford, for Lorna Bean, the Cornish seas exist for business rather than pleasure. She works as a fisherwoman for her father, Chris. But as the high season arrives, Lorna's second job kicks in, selling cream teas by the truckload from this charming little tea shop with her business partner, Otti. But Lorna has a regular reminder of her other life, as the cafe is the perfect pit stop for her dad. It's the ideal arrangement. A cup of tea in exchange for a bit of crab.
His boat's based in Halford. He's kind of obligated to drop it off every morning, so we only sell fresh crab.
We're looking forward to having her back in the winter. Now that she's married, but she has to get permission to come on the boat. I don't know.
We had some foreign customers, or I think they were from London, actually. They asked for a crab sandwich, and they had asked how fresh it was, and coincidentally, my father had just turned up in the fish van on the way back from sea and stuck a live spider crab, which is massive, long legs, in between these two slices of bread, put them on a plate and took it out to them. Yeah, they realised it was rather fresh, but they were quite shocked.
I bet they were. This village is like a second home to me, so I couldn't resist popping in to say hello.
Hello. How are you?
Really,
really good.
Thank you.
Lovely. Can I grab a cup of tea?
Cup of tea, coffee, yeah, tea.
Cup of tea, please, for outside.
Yeah.
I dip in and out of this village whenever I can, but meeting people like the Beans really helps me to get to know the Cornish way of life.
You do fishing in the winter and the cafe during the summer.
Yeah.
Two quite odd, disparate things,
but it's
aren't they?
brilliant. It's really nice having two different jobs. Going to sea every day for 6 years, or almost every day, becomes really monotonous. And if I was here without a winter break, I don't think I could cope doing that either.
The people that I know down here often have, I mean, sometimes 3 jobs, 4 jobs. I mean, I know some people that will fish, but also be carpenters, will bake, will find...
Ooh.
Talking of baking, thank you very much indeed.
Yeah.
What way am I meant to eat it here?
Jam first, cream on top.
Yeah, you see, that's just surreal.
The way to do it.
Nice
Jam and then cream.
Yeah.
So good. So
Good, lovely.
Yes.
God. Would you ever move?
No. This is home, and I like the idea that I can jump in my boat and go fishing, even if it wasn't for a living.
I've got a boat and my husband's got a boat. We can both, finish our day's work and with a couple of hours left of daylight, go fishing or cove beaching or, make the most of that time without having to travel from A to B before doing it. I've got my polytunnel and garden just there, loads of potatoes and salad and vegetables. Don't need to go to Tesco's. Too lazy.
No, she's right.
I do a Tesco's trip before Easter, before we open at the cafe, and then I go again in November when we close.
So you go to a supermarket twice a year?
First year I opened here, I used a tank and a half of fuel in a year. And that was only driving backwards and forwards to work.
That's exemplary. This is how we're all meant to be living, isn't it?
What a great life. I'm glad I've met Lorna and Chris. I hope I've made new friends here in Helford. In the picturesque setting of Mylor Harbour, on the South Cornish coast, the Devon Gig Rowing Club has descended. It's the club's annual regatta today, which means they'll be hosting 13 other Cornish clubs and taking part in some serious oar action.
Right, can I go and get changed? I need to find out where my clothes are.
But as the teams limber up, it's not quite the serious tension I was expecting to see.
It's fancy dress today. It's all a little bit less serious. But then saying that, once you're on the water, flag drops, it will be serious stuff. There will be cursing and shouting, and it'll be great. It'll be a good day.
Still, Justin is holding back his trump card.
The only chance we'll ever have is because this is our river, we know where the channel is. Well, we're supposed to know where the channel is. So as the tide comes in, boats might be running aground, but we'll be flying off because we'll know where the deeper water is. But other than that, we haven't really got hope in hell. But we'll celebrate it all the same. The tracksuits and the T-shirts are off, and the men's that I'm coxing we're all dressing up as hippie art student girls. Big man Joff, he's a vet, you know. Could you imagine him turning up like that? I don't think we're going to do very well today, but at least we're going to have a laugh.
But it's not only Justin and his boys who are happy to make an exhibition of themselves. Everybody is getting into the spirit of the event.
This is what gig rowing's all about. You know, big, muscular, masculine sport. Training all through the winter, going out in freezing temperatures, getting up at 8 o'clock in the morning before the sun's even got up. And this is what it all amounts to. Bit of cross-dressing.
They may all be 3 sheets to the wind, but now they need to get themselves together. The race is about to begin.
Right, ready, set, go!
Get your timing, Ali.
Oh, hang on a minute. All that training looks like it's paying off.
Well, Bracken's still there. Cadgworth is still there. 10, let's go.
Oh, maybe not. Yeah, the boys are in a dogfight. not to finish last.
That's it, that's better. Then keep it long, leaning back, a little bit of chop. Keep the left. 6, 7, 8.
Oh, if only they'd put as much effort into their rowing as they have done their makeup. Oh, well, it's about the taking part, not the winning, after all, boys.
We had a good start. We were up behind Falmouth crew for a little while. I think a little bit too much alcohol and a little bit of endurance fitness might have lacked a bit there.
Well, I think we did all right, considering.
Yeah.
You know.
Considering we were all in dresses, I think we did all right.
Yeah.
They may have lost the race, but in a community like this, everyone's a winner.
That's what Cornwall is about, or should be about, is the fact that we all get on and we all know each other, and it's a great laugh, and it's a big social event, and there's a bit of rowing as well.
As with so many Cornish events, the day ends in the bosom of the boozer. And a good old knees up. At least the singing's improved. Another eventful day in Cornwall, and the summer has only just begun.